I start my thinking about these problems, the agile business IT divide, around, well, what does agile transformation look like, or what does it really mean? And I've done a lot of work in this area with my colleague Finn Goulden. We wrote a couple of books called Flow, both called Flow, about it. Our feeling is there's no such thing as an agile transformation, and really most organizations have a series of problems that they need to address. For as long as you think about things like agile transformation, then your tendency is to try and get hold of simple models like the Spotify model or the Google culture or this type of thing and apply them, and that's almost as bad as retaining your old hierarchy. So we're very much about how can people in business co-create the right way to do the right work at the right time for the right customers. Well, it's kind of difficult to give an example of how you implement, because I can give you examples of how organizations are stuck with agile transformations and how they can liberate themselves. Quite a lot of organizations I go into are adopting the Spotify model. So the first thing you hear when you start to talk to executives is that they're trying to reorganize into squads or into tribes or a few other types of things like that. And what we try and say to them is that actually those names, those words are irrelevant. They're just another word for team. And what you really need to do is think how your teams deliver value. And I think that's kind of missing from a lot of this model adoption. So we have a number of tools, a number of techniques that we try and use for what we call generating a culture of value-seeking behavior. So people come into work to seek value, not to fulfill a role or not to follow rules. And try and liberate people, once they get that sense that they have a role in creating value, liberate them into understanding what that means for them and how they should collaborate with their co-workers. Well, you have to ask what's the incentive for most people now anyway. You know, if you go into a lot of organizations, most people are disengaged by and large. So I think you have to look at a bigger picture than that. If you look across the world at how successful companies operate, they tend to operate with very much an ecosystem model. So if you look at a company like Tencent or you look at a company like Alibaba, you're not really looking at the company. You're looking at those 1 million people that have created mini programs for Tencent, or you're looking at the 122 unicorns they've invested in. So actually what these companies are becoming are vast ecosystems of partner companies, vast ecosystems of third parties that contribute to their success, and the employee has a role within that ecosystem. So you have to start talking to your employees differently anyway. You've got to, I think, address this business IT divide by saying something like, actually, we're probably going to shoot ourselves in the foot if we continue to be focused on ourselves as a single business, where IT and the business can be at war all the time or be in conflict all the time. It's far better that we set a different context for what we're doing. We think of ourselves as being in an ecosystem of third-party actors that somehow we all try and find a way to make work constructively for all of us and all our customers. Yeah, I'm not even sure if you're going to create best practice. I think we create unrealistic expectations of people in business. So I think you can co-create a practice that works, that creates value. You need to be focused on something, and very often best practice, or even what some people call next practice, is about creating another set of rules, a new model to follow. Whereas actually what you want to do is create the conditions where people can co-create a process to get the right job done. I think there are some very clear trends that people tend to ignore. So if you look at ultra successful businesses, or you look at trends in IT, one of the most interesting is the trend towards micro everything, Microscale. So go back to 2001 and iTunes, it was about the 99-cent track, 99-cent album, the 99-cent album track. Slightly later, it was about the 99-cent novel from Amazon. Right now, it's about the mini program on the WeChat platform. Or even in physical goods, it's no longer about shipping big product everywhere. It's about micro products that are being delivered overnight in complex global logistics networks. So it's about the small package. So I think everywhere you look, it's about small, it's about micro. Unfortunately, the way methodology is going, it's all about scale. It's all about, can we do a scaled agile framework, or are there other ways in which we can scale our activities? Whereas smart companies and smart executives are going the opposite way and saying, how can we descale? How can we get down to the micro? Within the reach of large companies to behave like startups. I think that the problem is a lot of large companies don't understand that. They don't understand on the business side what IT can deliver through microservices and similar kinds of developments. But nor do IT departments really understand how they should be seeking value. They should stop just delivering what comes over the wall from the business, and they should develop relationships which allow them to push back and develop relationships where these people in the organisation can take a shared view on, is this valuable to us? Is it valuable to the client? Because if it's not, let's just kill it. I think that the kind of changes we're talking about are immensely complex, and so I think that's why people reach for these models like the Spotify model. But really, what we want to do, what we say, for example, is, by and large, hierarchy is pretty good. We have a thing out there which, we must reduce hierarchy or get rid of hierarchy. Ineffective hierarchy is really bad, but what we really need are effective hierarchies. And one of the things we try and do through our framework, I don't want to call it a method, is to create a situation where people can have really intelligent conversations about how the hierarchy can work well. And if you think about it, hierarchy is only bad when they just impose stuff. If executives are more transparent, if organizations are more transparent with their employees, you could have a lot more intelligent dialogue, a lot more intelligent conversation. And we say in the end, good business can always be traced back to intelligent conversations. Yeah, I think that most companies are stuck with big projects, big initiatives, big programs, that kind of thing. Well, the trend is towards micro everything, so really what people need to do is to start thinking, how can they coordinate a very broad range of very small steps? And by that, I don't mean fail fast, fail cheap. I think that the fail fast, fail cheap movement is causing huge problems for companies. So as soon as you get into those kind of lean iteration cycles, fail fast, fail cheap, you clog the innovation pipeline, you put huge pressure on the IT department to service, failures a lot of the time. So I think it's more about, if you've got a value-seeking mindset, what are the small steps you can take towards realizing value, and realizing value really, really quickly. So I was the guy in Split yesterday walking around in shorts. Yeah, it's really nice. It's like the summer to me. I know it's only the beginning of April, but really great.